What it do, people? Is the MMA guy. Today coming at you with a video ranking a top 15 current best strikers in the UFC. But this list is going to be slightly different. And I want to start by saying that this will not be a list where this won't be your average list. This won't be a number three, a Yair Rodriguez, man, because Yair's just so good. It's just that people take him down, man. I don't care, okay? This list, I don't care about the beauty of the technique, this and this and that. It's who you beat, who you outstruck. And so by this list, if I don't know, if a fighter uses the takedown threat as a way to set up his strikes and is a better and outlands the conventionally better striker because of it, he is considered a better striker because for this list, best equal most effective, most efficient. Takedown threat included. This is written in the title. Pound for pound, of course. Now, I did another thing. I said no good strikers with zero takedown defense that aren't potential contenders. On this list, Yair isn't better than someone who'd outstrike him if they mix the grappling. Arman outstriking Charles 2-1 at UFC 300 will make him a better striker than him on this list because he outstruck him on the feet during that whole fight, despite not having the same amount of KOs and this and this and that. Now, that would be a better feat for Arman. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily mean he's better than Charles. I'm not saying he's a better striker. Like, I'm not taking a position here. I'm just saying that if that was their only fight in the UFC, Arman would be a better striker because Arman hasn't KO'd. Well, he's KO'd Dariush, but he hasn't KO'd like knockdown Gagey. These kind of feats he doesn't have. So that's the thing. That's where we're going. Now, I will start with number 15, Nassourdine Imavov. I've been crafting this list for the past few days, moving people around, and honestly, I want this list to be a part of the channel lore. So I'll revisit the list every 2-3 months. Maybe if there's a lot of big cards, maybe once a month, but that's gonna be rare occasions. More so, we'll do it every 2-3 months or so when there's been a lot of movement, and so we can move fighters up, etc. So my number 15 spot is Nassourdine Imavov. I think Nassourdine is very, very good. He's a very aesthetic striker, but the other thing is that he's not someone that gets molded and this and this and that. He has KO'd Izzy, which, Izzy was on a 2-fight losing streak, and that's fine. But Izzy didn't get outclassed by DDP on the feet, who went on to outstrike to 50-45 Sean. And he also he beat Pereira not that long ago as well, right before. He lost to Sean Strickland, but I would say it's a stylistic matchup, and at the end of the day, I don't mind Sean Strickland being outstriking him because Nassourdine beat Izzy in a better way. As well, we have this fight, the first fight from Izzy and Pereira. Their first fight, he was winning 3-1 going into the 5th. Now, I'm not saying that makes Izzy a better striker because obviously Pereira ended up KOing him. But it does make him at least lower relative on the side that, they are similar in terms of their skill set. Izzy just doesn't have the same lethalness. He doesn't have that one-punch power. But in terms of purely strike count and everything, he's able to match Pereira, and he's able to stay out of range, generally speaking. The second fight, he literally beat him as well. Now, Pereira's durability was obviously affected. Doesn't take away from the fact that he was able to land the shot on him that did the damage. Now, Nassourdine KO'd Izzy slightly later on his career. So I'm not going to act as if Nassourdin's a better striker than Pereira, anything like that. I'm just saying that makes Imavov's feat of KOing Izzy very, very good. Absolutely phenomenal. He's outstruck everyone. He just 50-45 Caio Borralho, who had just landed 2-1s as strikes on Jared Cannonier. You know, beat him 49-46 in my opinion, but even a judge even added 50-45. Completely outstruck him that fight, beat him up. So those are two phenomenal wins back to back for Nassourdine Imavov, and I have him at number 15 right now. He's not that well established, and I don't think fighting Amzad's gonna do much for this. Maybe he's gonna get his spots taken because I doubt he's gonna have some good striking feet in there. But for now, we have the man at number 15. Next, number 14, we have Carlos Praches. Carlos Praches has been knocking out opponents in ways that have... He has that kind of lethalness to him that's definitely top 15 striker in the UFC, I would say. I might switch him, though. I think right now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like Imavov's feet are better. I just think that Ikeo Geoff Neal, purely striking like that has never happened before. Geoff Neal's a very, very good striker, and he doesn't get the respect deserving that. Well, he kind of does, but KOing him like that, I feel like because people have seen Geoff Neal lose, they kind of act as if, oh yeah, Geoff Neal, can't really count on him in those moments against those young prospects. He also lost to Ian Gary, also lost to Shafkat. The thing is that those guys, Shafkat blitzkrieged him, and he did have him hurt, but Shafkat also almost got put out by Geoff Neal. And Carlos Praches just steamrolled him. He was doing okay in the first, but then boom, spinning back elbow, he set him up, and he started landing. He was beating on him. He showed a completely different level to the game. And he's been KOing opponents close to the top 15, like Li Jingliang as if they were nothing. Charles Radke, all mid-level welterweight. And so I think his last win, I just think his win over Geoff Neal is a phenomenal boxer. I think that was absolutely great. I think that was a beautiful win. And honestly, I'm kind of betting on the prospect here, because honestly, I think I should have put Imavov above him right now that I'm thinking about it. And that's annoying me a little bit, slightly. At the same time, I kind of think he's going to run through Leon Edwards. And I think at that point in time, I'll be fine with putting him at number 14. And so this will be probably the next adjustment on this list. Now, number 13, in a much more skilled weight class, we have Brandon Moreno and Royval. Now, I didn't want to give two spots in the lower half for the flyweights like this, because they also have someone else that's a little bit higher slightly. I have Brandon Moreno and Royval. At first, I was just going to put Brandon Moreno, but Brandon Royval literally outstriked him not that long ago. Personally, I think it wasn't a good showing by Brandon Moreno. I think he didn't show up on that night, and he clearly showed that in his fight with Urseg. The thing is that the level of comp of Urseg compared to Royval, there's quite a big difference, especially if you look at their Kai Kara fight of both, I just don't see it this way. I think Brandon Moreno has consistently in his career been a better striker than Royval, but this is a current list, and so I'm gonna put both of them there. I still think Moreno's better. But Royval is also very, very good. Royval went 2-0 with Joshua Van in striking, pure boxing. He literally beat Brandon Moreno, which is an absolutely crazy feat. He has a win over Kai Kara France. Top win. He's set to fight against Manel Kape, who I think could also be on that list. I think Manel Kap's phenomenal, and a win, depending on who wins that matchup, I think this is definitely going to be creating some moves on this list. For sure. I think the next update I will do actually is end of the year. I think I will do an end of the year top 15 striker to see who ends the year being the top 15 striker. And then I will do more ranking, more of a final thing for 2025. Also, just a note, I absolutely would love for you to engage in the comments. Maybe tell me if you think someone I missed, because I've been looking at the UFC rankings and everything, and I just seem to seem to have found it, in my opinion. Now, I feel like I should have put Nasordi and Mavov above Prochas just now as I'm filming and explaining it, but this is it. Now for Moreno went 2-0 with Pantoja, and I know Pantoja's not the prettiest striker, but at the same time he's extremely effective, and he was grappling in that fight as well. He beat Deveson Figueiredo, who had one punch power at 125 like no one else. Maybe John Dodson, but Figueiredo's a much more accomplished striker and mixed martial artist overall than John Dodson. He beat him 3 times. I think 3 times. Or 2? 2 or 3 times. I think he beat him 2 times. I don't remember, but 2 or 3 times. He's beaten him more times than he's been beaten by him. He also has a win over Royval before in his career. He's beaten Kai Kara France. He set a strike count, I think some kind of strike record on Amir Albazi, who's not that great, but Amir Albazi won an extremely bad decision to Kai Kara France, but he hung in there. He's that kind of caliber of fighter. Brendan Royval completely dismantled him, just beat Urseg, wobbled him in the first, dropped him. I mean, he got ends. He's like that Mexican boxer. They're both phenomenal strikers in their division, and they're in the most skilled division. That's what people forget. They don't have the best necessarily, I would say, talent pool, but the fighters within it are just phenomenal. Very, very good. Now, for number 12, maybe a controversial pick, but I mean, if you've seen my previous placement, you're going to understand it. Oh, wrong one. Never mind. Magomed Ankalaev at number 12. Now, this has been updated. Magomed was quite a bit higher on the list. Not crazy higher. Just slightly. But I still think, because I thought I needed a new light heavyweight, and I thought, someone like Khalil or Yuri could make it. But I wasn't expecting Magomed to lose to Pereira. And that was phenomenal, by the way. Phenomenal performance. Phenomenal win for Pereira. That pushes him up on the list significantly, because he's already beaten Khalil, Yuri twice. Now Magomed, who by the way, has outstruck like Jan Blachowicz as well. Well, Pereira also beat Jan Blachowicz. But Magomed has been undefeated since his fluke loss debut to Paul Craig. To that, he racked 14 wins in a row, beating guys like Thiago Santos, Jan Blachowicz. He's beaten Rakic. He's beaten Ozdemir. Like all of those guys, he's outstruck. He's not. Doesn't grapple a lot. He's just straight up beating these guys. Killed Ion Cutelaba, which isn't crazy, but he killed him twice. One time was like a weird one, so they reran it, and then he beat him for real. Anyway, I just think Magomed. My thing about Magomed is that he has extremely fast hands for his division. He has very, very quick hands, and I was going to put another light heavyweight because this is a pound for pound list, obviously. Even in less skillful weight classes, you have to put the fighters that are complete anomalies fighters that are complete anomalies in there. Except, heavyweight is very, very bad right now. And so I don't think I will. I don't think I haven't put many. Not at all. I have one heavyweight in there. But Magomed has extremely fast hands. He stays out of danger most of the time. Now, Pereira pushed him, and Pereira has that kind of presence and power that no one else has. And I was thinking, who else do I put on this list? It was either Magomed or Yuri. And for me, as much as I love Yuri, I just feel like, you could never drag Ankalaev to a war. I just think Ankalaev probably beats him very comfortably. Might get hit. Maybe he gets hit with that one shot and it changes the whole fight like Yuri always does. I just feel like he's so good at staying out of danger and not being dragged into a war. Doesn't have any form of cardio issues. He has the grappling he can pull out at any time. I don't think he loses to Yuri. And this is why I still have him high. I'm not one of those guys that's gonna see a fighter lose and then go, man, isn't that guy just lost to this guy? I don't care about that. I care about ranking how I objectively believe they stack up in the UFC. And that's that. And also, don't forget what I said at first. This is a takedown threat included. If you get outstruck in a fight with takedowns included, you will... Well, okay. Obviously, if you get taken down in ground strike. But if you get outstruck on the feet because you are scared of takedown against a wrestler, you will lose. Like, if you think Jorge Masvidal versus Usman, and you do a strikers list and you go, well, the only reason Usman was able to outstrike Jorge is because of the takedown threat. This is MMA. Like Islam said, hey, you going box. Like when, that press conference when Islam and Dustin are talking, and Dustin says you should box like his coach tells him to, or something. He goes, hey, this is MMA. But in the reality of things is that Islam outstruck Dustin Poirier in that fight, and he outstruck him boxing as well. He outboxed Dustin Poirier because there was a takedown threat. That for sure, that's a part of it. No one cares why. This is an MMA fight. There's no scenario in which these guys fight without the takedown threat. And so I will include it. Now, if they show bad when they're fighting a wrestler, they have bad striking because they're not scared of the takedown threat or something like that. Some people nullify their takedown threat, and it's been kind of proven. Maybe that would apply in some way, but that's the only thing I can think of. If their takedown threat is always active, I don't care about it. So Magomed number 12, I think. Obviously, this is compared to his division. I don't think he's a more skilled striker than Brendan Moreno, the staple in the absolute upper echelon of the flyweight division. I think Magomed's slightly under that for his division. No, I think he's. I don't think he's as good as a fighter, but I think he's like that one guy where when Pereira loses the belt, it's going to be back to be Magomed, who's going to be champ for a while, He's younger, there's Carlos Solberg, maybe-ish, but I don't know. For now, Magomed number 12. Next, Ian Gary. This is the one that I thought I was going to have, and this is the one that's going to surprise people. My thing is that Ian Gary has landed 2-1 strikes on Carlos Prates. Now, Carlos Prates has had some late success, but when it comes to purely their skill set, how they, as strikers, obviously Carlos almost upsetted him. That was close, but the first 3 rounds, he got completely outstruck, and Ian Gary was too fast for him. Ian Gary also has a win against Geoff Neal. Ian Gary also ridiculed to another level Neil Magny. Well, they both did. But, he's shown that he's at that cream of the crop level. People are picking him to beat Bilal Muhammad right now. He's who was literally champ 2 fights ago. Ian Gary also outstruck Shafkat in their fight. and landed 0 ground strike, I don't think. So therefore, he literally outstruck him on the feet. Yeah, against a guy with an active takedown threat who was grappling against the fence, this, and that. Ian Gary outstruck him. The only fight he didn't outstrike the person in was Michael Venom Page, which he landed 19-21. And he lost the first round was 2 strike each, which he dominated with the grappling. Second round, he won in terms of strike count. And Michael Venom Page won the third round in terms of strike count. Or the other way around, I don't remember. But whichever it is, it's 1-1 in terms of strike per round. And the first round is equal. Now, Ian Gary wasn't turned into a wrestler by MVP. It's not like he ate a big shot and then he started wrestling. Ian Gary came in with a grappling heavy style. Therefore, it's just the path of least resistance when you're fighting someone as tricky as Michael Venom Page. Okay? It's not as if we can say, oh, he decided to wrestle against another striker, therefore he didn't believe in his skill set, therefore he's not as good of a striker. That's not how that works, okay? Path of least resistance, this guy's takedown defense hasn't been tested in the UFC really. I think he was taken down by Kevin Holland though. So, you see something like that and you're Ian Gary, you're kind of like, okay, I'm going to do it as well. Nothing bad here. I think Ian Gary is extremely good at staying out of danger. He got clipped once by Song something. Earlier in his career, he ended up TKOing him. But his win against Daniel Rodriguez literally just beat Kevin Holland in a fight. Dropped Kevin Holland and everything. Ian Gary, literally, who's not a guy with power. He just completely outsped, set up a head kick that a younger Daniel Rodriguez, So, there's that. He's been, which by the way, I know isn't crazy. His level of competition hasn't been crazy besides Shavkat and Proches, which he's outstruck both. He's outstruck Shavkat slightly, and he's outstruck Proches very dominantly in the first 3 rounds. Then he started gassing, and that's when Proches found his opening. But when you fight like that, you're not confident in your skill set to beat someone, especially when it's your first main event and all of that. You're kind of like, I don't know, you have to do something, especially a guy like Carlos Proches who literally just got a first round KO. If he can ride that run, then for sure Proches back. But for now, Ian Gary is that guy when it comes to striking. He's the 11th on the list. Now we will break into the top 10 finally. Number 10, I have Corey Sandhagen. I think Corey is phenomenal. I think Corey's striking is great. He has those kind of tricky. He's such a crafty vet, Corey. He's that guy that he fought Song Yadong, and people are like, he fought Song Yadong. I would have thought of putting someone like Song Yadong on this list maybe, but the thing is that he fought Corey, and Corey was getting outstruck. He was getting slightly outstruck when he came to the boxing. He didn't have the lethality the lethalness to be able to keep Song off of him, because Song's a blocky, he's strong, he's a very powerful compact frame at 35. He's probably the most imposing frame besides Merab at 35, I would say. And he was pretty much like he was getting beat by Song Yadong until he decided to add the elbows. He decided to add the elbows to the game, and that's when he started. He cut him open, and they had to end that fight. They had to end that fight because the cut was super bad. It was very, very bad. And so Corey, great adjustments. He's lost to Peter Yan. He's done a good go. He's had very good fights with Peter Yan as an interim title challenger. He's completely outclassed guys like Marlon Chito Vera, who, it's not crazy, but he's still beating highly ranked guys. He has that flying knee KO against Frankie Edgar. He's beaten Rob Font, but he barely, he grappled in that fight. pretty much. He did fine in the... Who did he beat recently as well? I mean, now he just lost to Marab, which is just fine. And his chin showed some level of being affected. I feel like maybe because of all the damage he's taken before. But until then, and by the way, that was a flurry of shot, got rocked a bit, and then he kept coming at him. So it's whatever. But you know, he before that he had an absolute granite chin that had never really been cracked. He outstruck TJ Dillashaw in their fight. People were saying that TJ was old and this and this and that, but realistically, that was one of the best TJ Dillashaw performances we've ever seen. I don't know how you can tell me otherwise. There was no higher level of competition that he's fought besides Dominic Cruz, and he landed literally the same amount of strike in both of those fights. He fought pretty much the same way. I don't think he was old, to be honest. I think he just came back from fighting Cejudo with his tough weight cut and everything, and he was just back. And honestly, that was probably the best TJ, I would say, or one of the best TJ we've seen for sure. And I would personally say it's the best TJ, and he outstruck him in that fight. And I'm not gonna call it a robbery. I think it's a 50-50 fight, one of the most 50-50 fight I've seen. Then he went, outstruck Peter Yan, but he got knocked down and everything. That's whatever. He didn't he outstruck him because he landed a lot more in the first, and he landed with some pity pat, kind of. That's whatever. But he outstruck Song Yadong, outstruck Vera. Was beaten, landed big KOs on Marlon Moraes and Frankie Edgar, outstruck TJ Dillashaw, good win, and completely dismantled Figueiredo not that long ago. So you have to respect the resume at this point. Corey Sandhagen is a top 10 striker in the UFC. That is my opinion. Next, I have Joshua Van. Now, this may be... it's too early to say that, but it is not. Joshua Van, at this point in time, and he's consistently improving like crazy because he's so young. He just beat Brandon Royval, who outstruck Moreno or was competitive with him. He knocked him down in the last minutes of the fight. If that was a 5-rounder, the way that this fight was going, Joshua Van would have finished Brandon Royval, maybe. I'm not saying he would have for sure, but Joshua Van has been beating on people. He's been, completely steamrolling people. Edgar Chairez almost finished that guy. He beat Cody Durden, who are not like crazy, but they're like lower tier. But he outstruck him over twice the amount of strikes, and then he beat Ray Soruya. Was grappling the whole time, and he just was putting paws on him. He beat Bruno Silva. He TKO'd Bruno Silva later in that fight, but it was a complete masterclass by him. Knocked him down 3 times. He's just starting to get into his real flyweight frame, which is a weird thing to say, but just beat Brendan Royval. So and everyone has been talking about this guy's boxing, this guy's that, but it just feels like people are like, oh well, it's too early and Pantoja's gonna steamroll him. Yeah, Pantoja's gonna steamroll him, but he's not gonna outbox him. Pantoja might get hit with a couple shots in the face, but I don't think he's gonna beat Pantoja. But I still think that whoever he fights, he's going to beat on the feet. And if they don't, and he has also brick wall takedown defense. So there's no one that I see being able to set a takedown threat so that they can outstrike him. I just think that he lets his hands go no matter what, and he just put paws on people. Joshua Van has some of the best hands, best combos, He's super fast hands. He's durable. Well, he's fairly durable. He has grit, and as well he has phenomenal cardio. He throws hard for 3 rounds. If it's gonna be 5, he's probably I want to see him go 5 with Pantoja. I think he's gonna get steamrolled, to be honest. But still, Joshua Van, phenomenal fighter, phenomenal boxer, best boxing, top 5 boxing in the UFC, and I have him at number 9. I think, of course, he's the last present, and I know he lost. He got KO'd by Charles Johnson, but that was a couple fights ago, and he's 24 years old. Like you have to give him some time to grow, and since then he's been on a 5-fight win streak. None of those guys that you're gonna name, besides like an Ilya Topuria and this and that, no one's on 5-fight win streak at the top. Now he just reached the absolute top. Beat Brendan Royval. And he was a favorite against Brendan Royval, which is outrageous. But I didn't think so. I honestly, I had money on Royval. I thought that was way too big of a step up. He proved us wrong. Beat Royval despite the big size advantage of Royval. And phenomenal fight. I think Joshua Van deserves this spot right now because he's in the most skilled weight class. Royval's phenomenal boxer. Outboxed Moreno. Granted, that wasn't the best Moreno, but he beat Kai Kara France before that. He's a staple in the top 5. Brendan Royval is an absolute staple in the top 5. In the most skilled weight class. And this guy went in and he outboxed him, knocked him down in the last, made sure that we knew, put his stamp on it against the best, the one with the best, who's standing at as the best boxer in his weight class right now. And so I think that puts Joshua Van at number 9 here. Next, Jack Della Maddalena. I think Jack Della's win are... Well, okay. Here's my thing. He fought Bilal with the takedown threat. Bilal was coming at him full force. Completely outboxed him. And was also able, even with the takedown threat, he was able to outbox him. You have guys like Leon Edwards. Oh yeah, Leon Edwards is a phenomenal striker. Yeah, look at the strike count if you pull up Leon Edwards against Bilal Muhammad. Let's see who won that fight. Let's see who outstruck. Let's put him again. Brady. Jack Della Maddalena with the takedown threat, didn't care. Completely outstruck Muhammad like 40-something strikes. For that, he was outlanding Gilbert Burns by 3 times the strikes, That was Gilbert Burns, who had lost one fight to but I felt like that was, a little bit before he became completely washed. I don't know. I would say it was alright. He was okay. For that, he beat Kevin Holland on the feet. Completely KO'd, didn't KO Randy Brown, but he put him completely down. Single shot, landed that. Randy Brown started buckling and weaving, and that's when he subbed him. And before that, he's been landing KOs after KOs. He was on a 3-fight first round KO streak. He's not even that powerful of a guy. He just has the perfect shot selection, best boxing. He's a gritster. He's super gritty. He's going to be in your face for the whole time. He has extremely high durability. We've never seen him hurt. He just has everything. He has very, very good volume. And right now he's the champion at 45, at 70. So I think Jack Della Maddalena, also a top 5 boxer in the UFC for sure. And I would put him... That's where I put him, number 8 in this. That's what I have for Jack Della. He doesn't have the craziest resume yet, but that Bilal win is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal win. I think people are underrating Bilal because they don't like him. But Bilal is actually a G. Bilal's actually very good. Bilal was outstriking Leon. Bilal outstruck almost every opponent he's fought. If you look at Bilal Muhammad's resume. Bilal outstruck outstruck Leon Edwards. He completely outstruck Gilbert Burns. Outstruck Sean Brady. Outstruck Stephen Thompson with the takedown threat. But hey, who cares? I haven't really seen that fight, so I don't know if it's on the feet that he outstruck him or. Yeah, he's outstruck pretty much every single opponent in his career, or almost. So you gotta respect it. You have to respect it. He's a phenomenal fighter, and that's it with like Bilal. Oh yeah, he outstruck Bilal, but Bilal has been outstriking Leon. Do you think Leon's a better striker? Okay, well, Bilal in an actual fight objectively has outstruck him, and the only fight that not the only fight that they've had because they had another one, but he poked him early in the first round, so that doesn't really matter. Well, early in the first or early in the second, I don't remember. Anyhow, you know, Bilal has outstruck him, and Jack Della Maddalena, despite the takedown trick, completely outstruck Bilal. And so what happens there? We have Jack Della Maddalena. It's a more dominant striker, and that's that. Now, number 7, Tom Aspinall. Now, I will say this. I think Tom Aspinall has phenomenal end speed, which is what puts him at that level. There's one thing about him is that he puts his chin in the air and he's hittable. And the thing is that the level of comp he's fought, most of them aren't all that. Now, it's also somewhat underrated to a certain extent because, Tom has fought. He's fought, like for example, he's fought Pavlovich at the absolute cream of the crop, at the absolute cream of the crop of his career. He was knocking people out. Now, Pavlovich doesn't fight like that anymore. He doesn't fight this way. And so people are like, because Tom Aspinall knocked him the fuck out last time he tried. But Sergey Pavlovich, at that point in time, was riding a 6-fight KO streak. He killed Curtis Blade, who's a staple in the top 5 of that division. Killed Derek Lewis. KO'd NOV. KO'd Tai Tuivasa, who was also brawling the same way. And then Tom Aspinall just 1-2'd him. Boom. Fight. KO'd him. Tom Aspinall has then completely killed Curtis Blade as well. Killed Marcin Tybura, which hasn't aged very well. Outstruck Volkov, but, he took him down and subbed him in the first, so that's whatever. For that, he killed Sergey Spivak and KO'd everyone that he hasn't subbed in a fight. Basically, he hasn't been, to a decision in his career, and is completely KOing most of his opponent. He has 7 KO, I think, in 2 subs. So, and his end speed is just phenomenal for his weight class. So this is why I have him there. I don't think in terms of pure skills he necessarily stands at that, but compared to his weight class, his skill set is absolutely his speed and his skill set make him otherworldly overall. So this is why I have Tom Aspinall here. I think he would KO John Jones. And yeah, I don't know about Pereira though. Now, number 6. Peter Yan. We have one of the most complete mixed martial artists with phenomenal takedowns, very good control, extreme durability, very good stamina, and phenomenal boxing, phenomenal body kicks, phenomenal adjustments to in terms of striking. He's just Peter Yan is the most beautiful striker to see. If I had to keep a single fighter's not resume but their like films of their fight. In the UFC, I think I would pick Peter Yan over anyone else. I am a big fan of Peter Yan. If it was up to me, I would have put him first. But objectivity is what it is. And there are facts here. He had to take down Sean O'Malley to beat him in that fight. Now he lost. No one thinks he lost that fight. This is a bad decision. He clearly won the first round. Clearly won the second. Third round he got caught, but he ended the fight like hitting him with shots on the ground. Like if you see a guy that you hit with a shot, and then okay, let's say you're in a bar, okay, you hit someone with a shot, boom, start bleeding, then he puts you down and start landing shots, and you're unable to get back up until the end of the round. Would you say that you've won that fight? I don't think so. The one that ends up on the ground doesn't. It's sorry for that, guys. I don't think. Yeah, so I think Peter Yan, phenomenal. I think I almost had it 30-27 against Sean O'Malley, to be honest. But I'm fine with a 29-28 third round because of the cut. That's okay-ish. Strike count is completely out of, this is the worst strike count I've seen in my life in that third round, 40-15, something like that. And when you just rewatch it, it's like a 50-50 exchanges the whole time except for the knee situation. But yeah, this is it. Now I have Peter Yan here. He's beaten Corey Sandhagen on the feet. He's completely outclassed Devason Figueiredo, and Figueiredo was 3-0 at that point in time. Ranking is 3, beating a guy like Rob Font on the feet, which is very impressive because at the time Rob Font is known for not really. He was that kind of guy that got took down for people to be able to get through him. Jose Aldo was never able to go. He got outstruck almost 2-1. I think 2-1, literally. I think against him, he had to land those four key takedown to win that fight, stuff like that. So Rob Font was a very good striker. Now he was a bit older, granted, even at the time where they fought, but still a good win by Figueiredo. And Peter Yan has a win against him. He's went toe to toe with O'Malley on the feet. He's outstruck Corey Sandhagen in a fight. He's outstruck Song Yadong, which is phenomenal as well. Didn't have to, elbow him. He just straight up beat him. He beat Jose Aldo. Completely dismantled Uriah Faber. He beat, he beat those, like, older generation guys like John Dodson. Right now, he just outstruck Marcus McGee. Now, Marcus McGee is, and he completely beat him on the feet. Now, Marcus McGee is, was on 4-0 in the UFC. And he looked he looked close to untouchable at that point in time. Now, obviously, he hasn't fought the same level of comp. I think that win is going to age very good for him, despite Miggy being already 35. I think if he just gets 2 more wins, something like that, McGee is going to be able to enhance Peter Yan's resume. But this is it. Peter Yan was beating Aljo on the feet. Every exchange that they had on the feet, pretty much he beat him in that fight. He outstruck him slightly, I think by 1 strike. Yeah, but split decision. Before that, he was completely beating Aljamain in the other fight that they had. So that was it. Yeah, this is it for Peter Yan. Peter Yan just stands at the pinnacle when it comes to striking. He's just outside the top 5. And if he gets a very solid win, if he beats, imagine he beats Merab next, that would be phenomenal. Yan Train would be so back. I think if he beats Merab, y'all wouldn't hear the end of it. Now, Number 5, we're breaking into the top 5. And the number 5 striker in the UFC, Sean O'Malley. Pains me to say, but Sean O'Malley, Jan did need to wrestle to beat Sean O'Malley on the feet. Granted, it was very close. They're very, very relative. Sean O'Malley's slightly slicker. He's got the KO over Aljamain. Now, that win has its has slight asterisk to it, but whatever. That's not the only thing. I mean, completely dismantled Marlon Vera, KO'd Aljo, outstruck Jan in a robbery decision. For that, he's just been making people look silly. He has been KOing he has. Since he's officially in the UFC, he's out. He's had 7 KO. Other than that, he has crazy decisions. So, okay, he's KO'd another guy in Dana White Contender Series. Other fight, he has 141 strike to 88. 63 to 25. He's just like completely outstriking everyone he's fighting. He's fought against Merab. He gave him looks that, he didn't do much against Merab, I'll be honest, but it's just beating Peter Yan. Not beating Peter Yan. That was a robbery, but I mean beating Peter Yan at in the striking exchange, like outstriking Peter Yan. Very slightly, by the way, when I say this. I mean, I'm not acting as if Sean O'Malley is a much better striker than Yan. They're extremely relative. He just slightly outstruck him in terms of the amount of punch that he's able to land in a round. He got completely outclassed in one of them. But besides that, he was able, he outstruck him in the first and the third. So you have to give him a slight edge there. So this is the only reason O'Malley's there. If they do the rematch, Peter Yan beats him, this guy's going way, way down. But he's still a phenomenal striker, still be within the top 10 for sure. Now, number 4, Merab Dvalishvili. And I know that people will look at this and be like, what is this, man? What is this? Here's the thing. We'll go back. We'll go back to the beginning of this. Most effective. Takedown threat included. Pound for pound. No good striker with 0 takedown defense. This isn't a better striker than someone without striking if they mix the grappling. This is an objective list. This is the list that should come out if you ask ChatGPT, hey Chat, who outstrike people every time that they fight them? I don't care about the style, this, or that. The facts are that Merab almost finished Corey straight up on the feet. Second round TKO that could have very much been something. They let it go. And Corey was very affected by that the rest of the fight. His durability wasn't the same. He wasn't able to eat a shot the same way. Merab he came the closest to stop Corey. Corey had never been TKO'd ever before, and he hasn't still, but he's the one who came the closest. Corey has fought Peter Yan. He's fought the who's of the division. Now, Merab has outstruck O'Malley in both of their fight as well. He's outstruck. So now he steamrolled Corey Sandhagen. He beat O'Malley, so he outstruck him 52 to 31 in their last fight. Subbed him. Then the other fight before, he outstruck Umar, and that's my reason for having Merab, because Umar with the takedown, the takedown threat isn't as much there with Umar, who's very comfortable defending the takedowns from Merab. But Umar was competitive with him in the striking from the beginning. Those were very close rounds. First round was 20 to 18 by Merab on strike count. Second, 20 to 25. Umar 25 to 20. The third round was 21-22, and then 36-14. It's like Merab outstruck Umar Nurmagomedov. So you're gonna say that, oh well, takedown threat this, takedown threat that. He's outstriking pure strikers. He's outstriking phenomenal grapplers with very good striking as well. So I don't want to hear it. He completely outstruck Cejudo almost three strikes to one. He doubled the strike on Peter Yan, which is outrageous because Peter Yan's phenomenal takedown defense. He outstruck Jose Aldo, grappled him most of it, but I'm trying to find a fight where Merab was outstruck, and the only thing that I find is his first fight in the UFC. He was outstruck 58-47, split decision loss in 2017. After that, he lost, guillotine choke, third round last. They gave it to Ricky Simon. That's a bit of a bullshit decision because from the fight that you see, and you know it's a bit of a gray area when it comes to that guillotine. It's not so clear. I don't remember it much, but he completely outstruck him. Completely outstruck after that. He hasn't been outstruck since his UFC debut. I don't want to hear it. Merab stands at the pinnacle of bantamweight when it comes to striking, and that's that. I don't want to hear nothing about it. Now, I'm not saying he's the best striking technician. If they go spar and they're like, hey, Merab, don't shoot takedowns, and he fights Peter Yan, he's going to get fucked. He's going to get obliterated. Okay, after 1, 2, or 3 rounds, you know, Peter Yan's going to find the shot. If he does the same with O'Malley, if he does the same with Corey, those guys, the facts are takedown threat are a part of MMA. And if you're able to establish good striking because of them, well, then so be it. And Merab stands at the pinnacle with that aspect of it. That's that. 4, Merab. Give me Merab at number 4. Feel very comfortable saying this. Now, number 3. Oh, by the way, this is cool that I did this because I actually have other 4 fighters left because I've set it up like a pound for pound ranking, and so there is a champ and 15 fighters in number 1, 2, 3 to 15, but there is also a champ. The number 1 is champ, and so yeah, there's 16 fighters on this list. So number 3 is technically number 4 overall, and number 15 was number 16. Anyhow, number 3 on the list, Max Holloway. Now, I was thinking, do I put him above or below Merab? The thing is that O'Malley's been on a crazy run, and people are not talking about it. Holloway has literally completely outstruck Dustin Poirier, almost 2 strikes to 1. He went strike for strike against Ilya before he got KO'd, which Ilya Tapor is absolutely phenomenal. And Justin Gaethje, he completely outstruck, made Justin Gaethje, and both Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier stand at the top of the lightweight division. He's made them look like subpar striker. He completely outstruck Yair Rodriguez in a fight where he didn't shoot takedowns, but he just took over as the fight go on. And plus, takedown threats are included. Landed the strike count record on Calvin Kattar with 445 strike. Has been competitive in the past with Volkanovski, which he hasn't been recently. He hasn't been in their most recent fight, but the other 2, he was somewhat competitive with him in the second, and the first was a very close fight. He's beaten a more so prime Frankie Edgar in striking. Struck him. He's been standing. He's been beating Aldo. He's been, he beat Anthony Pettis. He KO'd Anthony Pettis. KO'd Jose Aldo. KO'd Brian Ortega. He's been beating all these old school fighter, and now in the new school, he's still putting paws on people, including Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, KO'd the Korean Zombie. He beat Arnold Allen. He completely, he beat Arnold Allen in the way that. And Arnold Allen is literally a striking based fighter who did phenomenal against a guy like Movsar Evloev. Max Holloway is absolutely phenomenal of a striker, and he's been showing up at 55 like You know, he's a menace at 55. He's taking bodies after bodies. Now, number 2, Alex Volkanovski. People will hate this. People will like, oh man, he's been killed by Topuria. He's been killed by Makhachev. Makhachev fight came out the injury. I don't count short notice injury up a weight class fight. If let's see all the other fighters that did good in that scenario. Oh yeah, coming off a straight injury, 10 days notice. No, they have to come out of an injury. I'm not counting. We can count short notice. Coming off an injury, up a weight class, short notice. Give me all of those. I will excuse all of their losses. I excuse Volkanovski's losses. Only loss is to Topuria, and he was coming off a KO loss. 3 months turnaround, I think. Crazy quick, and he's talked about having problems with it. This is it. I have Alex Volkanovski. He completely schooled Max Holloway. 50-45. Not a single round was competitive in that last fight. Can you imagine that? Not a single round was competitive against a guy that's out here KO'd Justin Gaethje and had Dustin Poirier dropped him 3 times. Been beating those guys. Oh yeah, man, Max Holloway got so much better since he's at 55. I don't want to hear it, guys. It's barely a year removed. Alex Volkanovski, then as you know, he was out and he beat Diego. He got knocked down in a round, came back, and he completely struck him with the takedown threat of Islam Makhachev up a weight class. He outstruck him. Had a very competitive fight with him up a weight class with the takedown threat. Outstruck him. Remember that, because that's the same Makhachev who, with that same takedown threat, outstruck Dustin Poirier. Not that Volkanovski coming up from 45. No one cares, you know? And that's a pound for pound list. So imagine you're thinking, oh yeah, man, Dustin Poirier is a great 55er striker. Well, Volkanovski's better at 55. He has better feats at 55 and against a similar opponent like Max Holloway, way better. This and that. And he's a 45er. This is the level of Volkanovski. He's a fighter that transcends the weight class. He's so phenomenal. He's fought Diego Lopez. He beat Diego Lopez as a 37-year-old. As a 37-year-old, he beat the guy that just fraud checked the most dangerous striker in the UFC. Well, the guy that was coming up that people were looking at as like, oh yeah, that guy's he's gonna KO Lopez, you know, was coming up and people were gonna say, nah, I thought Lopez would win. Yeah, it was a minus 250 favorite. I don't care what you personally think. The facts are that the people just saw this guy and thought, oh yeah, this guy's gonna smoke Lopez, you know. And people were thinking, oh yeah, I think he's gonna KO him. I think he's got too much for him. Boom, got spinning back elbow. Volkanovski's legacy back on top. We are running the Volkanovski train. His wins just keep aging better. People just keep hating. That's cool. He's at the pinnacle of this fight game. And, you know, number 2 strikers currently as a 38 years old. 37 or 38-year-old now. That's that. Alex Pereira. This goes without saying, I don't think. People maybe... this is a bit of a high pick because, honestly, I had him much lower. I started this list before their fight with Magomed, and I had him at number 10 around. Because I just thought that in his fight with Ankalaev, he looked so slow compared to Ank that I was like, in terms of his hand speed, that I was like, okay, I don't think he's going to do much. I think he's limited by his speed, his skill set, and his skill set in terms of his striking defense is limiting him. And so that's what I had. But now he has beaten Ankalaev, Yuri twice, Blachowicz, completely outstruck Blachowicz as well. He's at 85. He has beaten Izzy in his 4th UFC fight. Who Izzy was considered, or still is, by many to be the middleweight GOAT. People say, it's Anderson Silva. Yeah, Anderson Silva was fighting mechanics. But Alex Pereira beat that guy that's still to some considered the middleweight GOAT in his 4th UFC fight. Before that, he KO'd Sean Strickland in the first round. You know, this guy has one of the craziest resumes, beating 6 champions now. Enough said. Alex Pereira, this is 38-year-old now. 38 years old. Crazy. And with the champ, now we have Ilia Topuria. I mean, Ilia beat Volk. Ilia beat Volk. KO'd Volk now. Okay? He beat Volk, that coming off a KO loss, but he did trap him. He did trap Volk. And that's a Volk that was... You know, if that Volk fought Max Holloway, I think he would have beat him, if I'm being honest. Then he beat Max Holloway, literally KO'd Max Holloway. It's something that was never done before. Granted, he had a bigger weight cut, but I don't think Holloway beats him at 55. I think he's one of the... I think he's the one with the most underrated chance because he's lost to him. But realistically, I think Max Holloway... I think Topuria beat Max Holloway, beat Volk, and now he goes as a... You know, he's a guy with shorter reach. He's shorter, everything. Goes up, deal with Charles Oliveira. He eats a nasty elbow. He has very good durability. That's something we have to speak about. That's something we have to talk about. Durability. That's a very important component of your striking ability. He ate that shot like nothing. And then he put pause on him. So I have Topuria as the champ right now. I think he's fighting Gagey next. This is only going to add to the resume. And this is it. So thank you for sticking around. I've been yapping for so long now. It's been almost, I don't know how long it's been. Crazy stuff. But thank you for staying with me. I hope you've liked this video. Please tell me what you think in the comments. Give me the list. Give me fighters you think should be on the list. Now, obviously, they can't be like fighters or number 15 or this and that. I only take very, very highly ranked fighter because I don't like talking about, you know, I'm not going to put Yair Rodriguez on this list. He gets taken down every 2 seconds. Volkanovski's better than Yair. I mean, he completely outstruck him in the third KO, like wobbled him and then finished him on the ground. But wobbled him in a round that was purely striking. And where we started, the round that Yair started opening up is the round that he got KO'd. Like, he got hurt and then TKO'd. So think about that. I don't want to hear it. Charles Oliveira, number 1. Alex Pereira. Max, Marab, Sean, Peter, Tom, Jack, Joshua, Corey, Ian, Magomed, Brendan, Carlos, and Nasordi Nimavov. This is it. Like, comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe, because I have a grapplers list coming soon. Top 15 grappler, it's already done. I'm just going to post it soon. I also have... I'm going to do a prediction video for the Charles versus Gamrot. So make sure y'all stay tuned. Thank you for watching.